It's my pleasure to welcome you here to the Clark Howard Show, where our mission is to serve you with advice and information that empowers you so you make better financial decisions in your life. One decision that you can make that I believe is a really smart one is to sign up for our free money-saving newsletters at clark.com/newsletters. Today, I've got some significant news I want you to be in the know about with the future of credit cards. And I'm also going to talk about why you buying the latest, greatest television is really not a good use of your money. I don't care how good they look. And of course, I'm going to answer as many of your questions as I can. So there was one of those legal settlements that got a lot of reads on media outlets, television, all over the internet and all that, about a legal settlement involving credit cards that really was clear as mud. And so I want to clear that up for you and tell you what may well be coming. All right, so here's the story. Under the settlement that the credit card issuers reached with the plaintiffs that sued them, is merchants are going to have the ability, potentially as soon as this summer would be the earliest, to charge discriminatory fees based on what credit card you pull out of your wallet. So you pull out let's say you pull out a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, or a Capital One Venture X, or an American Express Platinum, or any of these premium, high reward kind of travel cards that you pay the big annual fee for, and then you get all these points. Well, the merchants are paying just gigantic fees when they take those cards. And it's funny because I talked about this back in January about how in Australia, when you come to a register, it will have an electronic list showing that if you use that card, you're going to pay this much extra in fees. And retailers and restaurants are going to be allowed to do the Australian kind of thing at the earliest this summer, where you'll have to make a choice. Is it worth it for you to get those Chase or Capital One or American Express points from one of their premium cards, or you could have an American Airlines Advantage card, or United Mileage Plus card, or Delta Sky Miles card? Are you going to be willing to pay 2-3% extra to use that card versus, let's say, another credit card might be fee-free or might be 1%. Debit card might be free to use, free of fee. I mean, we're going to be in a whole different era of potential complexity. And I know this is weird. I'm actually in favor of it. I know, don't throw anything at me. And I'm somebody who earns all these points all over the place and cash back and all that, because it's not right that the retailer, the restaurant, the supermarket should just be having you come to the register and say, punch me in the nose again. Punch me in the nose again. By charging, by the banks being able to charge these gigantic fees to the restaurant or retailer or whatever. Now, they're going to be able to make a choice. There are going to be places that say, okay, it's worth it to us because we want those big money spenders, which tend to be people who pay for these big annual fee cards. They tend to be less price sensitive when they shop, and they tend to buy more stuff. So we hate it, but we'll take them, and we're not going to fee them. Or people may say, nope, we're not going to take those at the normal cost. We're going to charge the surcharge. So it means that you and I, when these start appearing, are going to have to pay attention. And we've seen this for a while with like school websites or government websites, when you go to pay a bill and it'll say, you know, you want to use this credit card, it's, 2.7%, or this one's 1.8 or whatever. So we've already experienced it some in our lives with online bill pays that we're paying for different things. But now it may migrate to being just part of routine everyday life. And I was in Australia in January and came back and talked about it. And what I found was I'd get to a register, and I'd look at the digital charges, and that would control how I paid for something, what form of payment I used, which card I used. And there will be other business models that emerge. Like, it's not beyond reason that we might have big retailers that come out with their own payment platform. That Amazon, in addition to having the Amazon card and Walmart having their Walmart credit card, they may have some kind of payment portal that you can pay to them and avoid fees. These are the kind of things that if you let the free market work, you let experimentation come forward, who knows where it's going to play. Now, ultimately, it means you're going to have to make a value judgment. Are mileage plus points, advantage points, Delta Sky Miles points, are they actually worth you paying extra for at the register? The answer is no. I mean, the only time it would even marginally be worth it is if you're close to a next level of whatever status and you just got to get there and you need to do a little more credit card charging to get to it. Maybe you can justify the cost against the benefit. But everyday use, no way.
No way.
No way. You downgraded your airline card, didn't you?
No.
Or you gonna? I thought you were going to do that.
I didn't do it yet. Steve in Missouri says, I have a question about reducing our savings rate. Gasp. Currently, my wife and I are saving roughly 29% of our gross income in various...
Wait. Steve is upset that they're saving 29%?
Yeah.
Steve!
Wait, you got to hear his reason.
Yeah,
it's
but
a very
wait.
good one.
Let me start with this. The average amount the average American is saving is like cents of every dollar. And you're saving 29, you got nothing to feel guilty about, no matter what Christa's going to say next.
All right.
What are you going to say next?
Okay. So they're saving 29% of their gross income in various retirement vehicles. We want to reduce our savings rate to 25%. My wife works in IT full-time. I'm a firefighter and work 24-hour shifts. On my days off, I watch our 2 toddlers to save money on the crazy high daycare expenses. Currently, our boys go to daycare twice a week. We want to start putting them in daycare 3 times a week because daddy daycare is burnt out and needs a day off once a week to maintain our home or just sleep after a long shift. Anyway, what is the most optional way, the best way to reduce our current retirement contributions? And then he lists, my wife contributes to her 401k up to the 6% company match. We both max out Roth IRAs. I contribute $13,000 to my 457B. I can retire in 10 years and start pulling from it penalty-free at 45. I max out my HSA. Where should we make cuts first?
Okay, first things first, let me go back to basics. That you're saving 29% and you're going to cut it all the way down to 25%. You got so much to be proud of, I don't even know where to start. You got 2 little kids, and you're still living on 75% of your pay and saving 25%. You're a perfect example of, even with kids, being able to live on less than what you make and create financial opportunity for you. You're able to retire. What age again is he going to be able to
45.
retire? 45. And you'll have some kind of, as a firefighter, some kind of really nice pension to carry income forward. This is great stuff. Okay, so of the things here, would you take from it would really be from the 401k has to stay like it is because you want to pick up all the match. So the Roth IRA might be on the table. Your $13,000 to the 457B might be on the table. The HSA not on the table. That HSA money is way too valuable. You got current tax deduction. You get to spend the money tax-free and tax-free. HSA absolutely can't touch it. So how do you decide between reducing the Roth IRA contributions and reducing the 457B. I guess I would say the most important way to make that decision is, does the 457B have higher management costs, or does the Roth IRA have higher management costs? Whichever is the lowest, you want to leave, and management costs, you want to leave as much in place as possible and pull from the other. Even with your ability to pull penalty-free at 45, I'd say you could live to 90 or older, and so you got a long time in front of you you have to fund. And so I wouldn't go strictly based on the fact that one you can withdraw from at 55, the other at 45. I'd reduce the amount of contribution to whichever has the higher management fee that you have to absorb.
And hopefully it's just temporary, because when they go to elementary school, they probably won't need the daycare as much.
Right, but this is for the next few years, and already doing so much to create financial security and financial independence.
It's awesome. Elaine in Florida says, when renting a U-Haul truck for a local move, do you need to take out the insurance?
Almost always, and not based on it being local or long distance, because your personal auto insurance will have a limit on how many foot truck you can rent that will be covered by your own automobile insurance. So you need to call your automobile insurer, Elaine, and find out what is the maximum length truck that you can rent. With my insurance, I think it's a 12-footer or less I can have covered by my own auto insurance, but bigger than that is not. So you want to know that your auto insurance covers the vehicle and covers the liability of you driving the vehicle. And as long as you're okay with the length truck, I had something recently where I went to get a rental truck for the day, and I had booked one size and got there, and they said, "Oh, we have good news for you. We've upgraded you to like this mega truck."
Ooh.
And I couldn't take it because it would not be covered by my auto insurance.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to wait for a smaller truck to be available.
All right, so this is a show and tell. Joe in Florida sent this video that goes along with his question, so I'm going to show you a quick clip from it. It's Dashcam video.
Yeah. Oh, let me paint the picture of what I just saw.
He says, someone swerved in front of my wife's 2010 Sienna.
And they did swerve in front of it.
They sure did.
They were in a lane. They were supposed to go straight. They decided that the last second they were just going to hang a left right in the path of the Sienna. Bam.
Yes, we have a dash cam, thanks to your recommendation, which fully proved the other person was at fault. Definitely, clearly. We filed a third-party claim with their insurance, and they accepted 100% liability. Originally, the estimate was $5,600 to repair, and they valued the van at $4,500, therefore it's totaled. I fought their valuation with comparable ones and got the valuation up to $7,700. Woohoo!
Oh, stop right there, because that's important. Mm-hmm. Insurers will lowball you when they say they're going to total out. They will lowball you on what your vehicle's worth. It's not at all unusual for them to come in about 30% below the actual fair market value of the vehicle. I can't run the math that quick to see 77 to 56.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, that's like 30%.
And you ran the math. Okay.
You want to know exactly. You want
that's
to
okay.
use a calculator.
No. Okay, so got up to 7,700, and he says, woohoo, but the car was still totaled. We got a second opinion for the repairs that came in at $3,400. So now the car went from totaled to being fixed. Another woohoo.
So everybody won.
Yeah.
The insurer won, and you won.
Next, I filed a diminished value claim. I provided some documentation and the estimate of about 14% of the new valuation. They gave us $843, about 11% as a cash payment. My wife loves her 2010 Toyota Sienna, and since it could be fixed, we fought hard to get it fixed. All the knowledge I've learned from Team Clark over the last 25 plus years is invaluable to fall back on. I'm always saying, on Clark Howard, they said.
Get a dash cam.
Yes, that was key.
Yeah, I mean, the dash cam thing, we just talked about it again on the dash cam, how valuable it is. And they're as cheap as $10 to buy one on Amazon.com, Walmart.com. And you got to buy, usually the $10, $20 ones, you got to buy micro SD card usually, or an SD card. Those are really cheap now. And they do continuous loop recording. You're in an accident, you have the proof. Let's hope you're not finding proof that you were at fault. Yeah. But so often people have amnesia about what they might have done wrong. Mm-hmm. And the dash cams are great. And we told the story before, Christa, about you in the wreck where somebody claimed it was your fault. And then the police officer watched the dash cam video that's built into the Tesla. You don't have to add separate camera. And the officer said, "That's the clearest video I've ever seen." And then wrote the other person the ticket as being at fault. Mm-hmm. It was truth serum.
Yeah.
It was great. All right. So I'm so glad you had the strategies. You knew everything to fight your battle with the insurance company, and you won, and you won, and you won all the way around. And I hope the repair on the Sienna was great, and that your wife can drive it for many, many years to come. Coming up ahead, you could spend the kind of money you're talking about just buying a new television, going into Best Buy or Sam's Club or Costco or wherever you'd see TVs. I'm going to tell you why you don't want to do that. I want to start with a funny, nostalgic thing. So people are setting up little libraries, not for books. You know how you'll see these free take one, put one in, whatever, little libraries that are in neighborhoods all over America now. Now people are doing the same thing they call blockbuster libraries. And they put old DVDs into these that they're not interested in anymore. And you come and you get a DVD and you leave others in there and all that. And why are people going back to an ancient technology? And by the way, when I read a story about these blockbuster libraries, I went online at retailers to see how hard it was to find a new DVD player. It's not hard at all. Now they're $25. Reason people are doing it is you buy this fancy new TV and the video quality of streaming is so bad. So you go into the store, I don't care what store it is, and they have the TVs on display, and they're all on these closed circuit things, probably running from DVD players. And the pictures look crazy great. So you look at the latest LG, the latest Samsung, the latest Sony, the three what are considered to be the premier brands, and you look at them and you're like, wow, look at that. I got to get one of those. And so you get one of them. And then you get home, you plug it in, you hook it up to your Wi-Fi in your home, and then you start loading your streaming products, whether it's Netflix or Hulu or Pluto or whatever it is. And you add those in. And then you start watching video and you're like, what happened here? Wait a minute, what happened? Because you saw this demo thing on the LG or the Samsung or the Sony, and you get home and it's like, where's that picture? You're not going to get it because that picture requires perfection in video source that you're not going to have the way we watch content today. It doesn't matter what it is, except the only way you might get that picture is if you have an antenna hooked up to your TV and you're pulling the HD or 4K signal from your local television stations, and then you'll see what that TV can do, somewhat like what you see in the store. But most of us, most of the time, we're watching streams, whether they're fast, the free ad-supported TV, the free streams, or we're watching whatever it is, something like YouTube TV or Fubo or a Sling or whatever, bringing in traditional kind of cable fare. But whatever it is, you're not seeing the picture you see in the store. So do not abuse your wallet. Do not fall for those demo videos in the store. Buy the cheapest rock gut TV you can get in the screen size you want, whether it's 40-inch, 50-inch, 55, 65, 75, 98, 85, 110. Sounds like I'm a quarterback calling out signals. Hike. Buy the cheapest, because the picture is going to look really good having that big screen television. But again, nothing like you see in the store, period. I know you bought one of those. You bought an expensive Samsung or LG a few years ago?
No, I bought a Sony, from Costco. It wasn't terrible, but it's really good. I mean, I do have 4G programming. I pay for the extra thing on YouTube TV, and Netflix has a
4K.
bunch of that. 4K, I mean, yeah, whatever it's called. I don't even know.
4G, 4K.
I mean, I don't
it's like
have a super
220,
fancy
221,
one.
whatever it takes,
whatever
old
it is.
movie reference.
Yeah, I love that TV. Okay, and I got it on sale at Costco. I mean, am I forgiven?
Yeah, but it was still a lot of money. I mean, see, if I can buy, like right now, you can buy a 75-inch TV for $499, or you can pay many, many thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I didn't
What's
pay
the
many
difference
thousands.
between the $500 TV and the one that's many thousands? Whatever the price difference is between them. When you get them home and you're watching streaming instead of some kind of closed circuit beauty. And it is fun being in Costco or Sam's, and you see that stuff, you know, where they have the video of the nature. It's always nature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll have the mountains, and they'll have the streams and the sky, and they'll have a close-up of some kind of little animal, you know, and it just like, it's unbelievable. It's better than if I was at Yellowstone looking at this stuff.
There is 4K programming available.
Yeah, but it's
Like, what
not
if your
gonna
football
look,
games could look so good that you could see the bead of sweat on the guy's face coming down? Like, wouldn't you want that?
So I had that this last season with YouTube TV.
Yeah, you can do the 4K with that.
And so I could see on my cheap TV, I could see the beads of sweat. I could see the individual blades of grass. And as soon as football was over, I discontinued
it, yeah.
the 4K.
All right. Sherilyn in Texas says, I'm a fairly new listener, 6 to 7 months, but have learned a lot listening on my daily morning drive. Welcome. Welcome to this Clark Squad, as I like to call it. We live in a part of Texas where we do not have a choice of utility providers. We've been notified the utility company is switching to smart meters. We are considering opting out, but that's a $166 charge plus $16 a month to do so, and we have 2 meters on our property. There are definitely mixed reviews on smart meters, mainly some who say it gives the utility company control over your energy usage. But don't they have that anyway? Others say smart meters might seem cheaper now, but just wait a few years and your energy costs will increase. We live outside the city limits on a small acreage, and if we go with the smart meter because we don't want to pay the fee to opt out, would it be in our best interest to consider a backup generator? Just trying to make the best decision before they show up to switch the meter.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so Sherilyn, smart meters can be anywhere from just one that can be read remotely and saves them a lot of money on labor costs, not having to come read it, to ones that do time of use power. So you pay 2 to 7 in the afternoon, they charge you like 5 times the bill, 2 times the bill, whatever per kilowatt. Overnight, they might make power nearly free, and all that. Time of use is something the power companies all love, and it is, even though you're in a regulated utility area of Texas, most of the state, as you know, is deregulated, and everything is about what's the cost based on peak. You know, how much more is it when there's a heat wave in the afternoon? How much less is it other times? And so this is definitely where power is going. And I would say instead of a generator to reduce use during a peak time, because you're in Texas, which is one of the most favorable places in America for solar, instead of spending $166 times 2 plus $16 a month times 2, let them put in the smart meters and consider putting in a couple of solar panels or 5 solar panels or whatever it is that you can put in. They would not be that expensive. Or as an alternative, you could put in, instead of a generator where you're going to be running potentially on natural gas or propane, you could put in battery wall kind of stuff where you store extra power if they go to time of day use. When you're overnight, when power's extra cheap, fill up the battery packs, and then each day when power is at maximum price per kilowatt, you then run off those batteries, and it could end up saving you a lot of money. There are ways to handle this, and if you go to full mandatory time of use, it forces you to do laundry at times and all kinds of things to avoid those peak periods where they're charging so much more money for power.
Jonathan in Texas says, I'm traveling to Switzerland for a family member's memorial service in August.
I'm sorry you lost a loved one.
In August, and I need to get an international driver's license. Could you please help describe how I would go about getting an international driver's license? It's a bit confusing. I want to make sure I don't get scammed.
It's amazingly easy. I have one because of how much I travel and rent cars overseas. And I just went to a AAA office, and they do them at most AAAs for members or non-members. It takes just a couple of minutes and costs very little money. And I have never once been asked to show it in any circumstance. But I have it in my backpack just in case someday I get to the car rental counter and they say, we want to see your international driver's license, or I have an unfriendly meeting with the police overseas and they want to see the international driver's license. I'll have it, but it's not big hassle to get one, and likely something you'll never have to show.
Joanne in Virginia says, you said your son is going to be a pilot for the airlines. Doesn't that mean you and your wife can fly for free on that airline?
So Joanne, that used to mean that. And technically it does mean that. First of all, it'll be a few years before an airline decides they want him. He's got to get his professional pilot rating. He's got his first step, but he's got several more to go through. But the problem now is that airlines have learned how to fill to virtually every seat on a plane. So pass riders end up left behind, sitting at the gate again and again and again, because the airlines have so figured out with computer modeling how to get most planes we fly on 100% full. So yeah, at one time it would have been like the greatest thing ever. I would just be able to go everywhere with my wife and pay just small junk fees and pay nothing to fly, pretty much. But today, it's a different game. So even when our son is flying, for whoever he's flying with, my wife and I will be on whoever has the best fare. No matter which brand it is, we'll be getting the best deal. Sorry, that's how it works in my household. Have an absolutely great day. Remember, we're about you learning ways to save more, spend less, and avoid getting ripped off.